Hello, welcome. My name's Lauren. I'm a beginning artist who last spring decided that I wanted to be an artist. I didn't have any experience with drawing or painting really. I'd dabbled a very little bit, but I decided sort of it's now or never, and decided it was something of value that I wanted to try to add into my life. And since then, I've been trying to create art every day to varying degrees. Some days it's just 5 minutes, other days it's many hours. And today I would like to talk through the first sketchbook that I feel I've completed. There's still some blank space, but to me it feels like a completed sketchbook at this point. And these are just some of the materials that I used in case I want to use them as a reference while we're talking. This book feels like a very private thing, but at the same time it feels like something that you want to share, and for some reason I feel compelled to share it on the internet. So just please keep in mind as we look through, the reason that I'm sharing this isn't because I think all of these things are absolutely amazing. It's more sharing my experience of finding joy and success and loving creating art, even though I was starting from a place of such a beginner. So I've worked in other sketchbooks, but this was the first time that I sort of only worked in this during the time since I've started creating. This is a Stillman and Birn beta series, so the pages have a little bit of tooth to them. There's 26 sheets, acid-free, mixed media, good for all things. So I started in September of 2022 and I ended in January of 2023. So somewhere between sort of 4 and 5 months, right? So, yeah, and it wasn't all of September, it wasn't all of January. So more like 4.5 months that I completed this in. It is in a A4 size, so it's a little bit bigger than sort of other sketchbooks that I've used, and it's so funny to think that I now like to work in this larger size, being that in the spring I only like to do things that were this big. There's been a lot of growth, but okay. So on the first page I just stuck in 2 of the prints that I made. During the time of working this book, I tried lino cutting for the first time. This was the first one that I created, and then this was the second one that I created for some Christmas cards this year. Both were like my own designs, and I carved them out and then rolled and printed them, and that was so much fun. I'm looking forward to doing more of this in the future. The problem is that I don't really want to go larger than this, and a lot of my sketches aren't this size. So when I first got this larger book, it was feeling like a lot of space. I didn't really know what to do with it. So I decided to get over that. I just swatched out my watercolors, which I've now since moved around a little bit, but swatched them out, used some of my pens. I was thinking I might use it almost like sort of like bullet journaling, like the drop shadows and things like that. This is my favorite pen. There wasn't a lot of direction. This lovely little guy is a little bat that I drew. I was thinking about maybe participating in Inktober. I share my work on Instagram as well in my journey, and everyone was talking about getting ready for Inktober, and I was like, oh my God, what is that? Looked into it, it sounded like fun, but I thought maybe I should try a previous prompt from a previous year to see if I liked it before I decided to sign up, and I did do Inktober in here. During this time, I did buy a set of 72 Prismacolor colored pencils. Those were my first ones, which I took out like my favorite colors. If I were to do it again, I think I would just buy colors that I like, but I don't know if I would have known colors that I liked if I didn't have other ones to choose from. This was a view from my window one morning. The sunrise was insane. These are like the little rooftops near my house. Again, I was sort of playing around with layout. I didn't really know what to do with this larger size. This is the page that we won't speak about. This is as bad as it gets. These berries are kind of cute, but I just didn't know what to do. I was trying to like make the spread first and then fill it in, and it just wasn't working. But then we hit Inktober, and this gave me a lot of motivation and inspiration, just seeing other people's work and getting to plan something out. I didn't actually do Inktober, it was called Mosstober, and this was just my planning page, and then we head into Mosstober, day 1, day 2, day 3. I really liked this flower. So this is ink, and then a little bit of watercolor, and this little flan hedgehog. So this is ink and watercolor. This is Quinacridone Gold by Daniel Smith. Some little watercolor and ink houses. This is just ink. Then I was feeling like I didn't want to do ink anymore, so I tried a little gouache from a Himi palette. More watercolor. I love pink and red together. This is the only time I've tried it in art that I've created so far, but I should really try this color combination again. Inktober was also the first time that I sort of really tried sketching things or drawing more detailed types of things, and that was really fun to sort of try to learn how to sketch up, how to like find a reference photo and sketch the reference photo and then ink your sketch, and it was a lot of fun, and like adding to multiple things, you know, like you find a cauldron and then you find a spoon and then you find a bubble, and it was great fun. This is ink and watercolor. This is still in Inktober, a house that I grew up in. A little kitty silhouette. Just straight up ink. This is the first time I realized, like, looking at a reference photo, you can kind of make things look like real things. It's a very, very cool thing to find out. A little watercolor and ink painting, and as well as some white gel pen in here. These days I wasn't really feeling it. I decided just to try to do some little things. But these fish, I think this is one of my favorite things that I have done all year since I decided to really give this a shot on a daily basis. I love these fish. I think they turned out really well. They went through one of the ugliest phases any painting that I've ever done went through, but they came out the other side looking real good. I almost am tempted to take this out and this page and put it up somewhere, because I don't love the back. The beetle's kind of cute. He's ink and watercolor as well. These are all ink and watercolor. Some more ink and watercolor. This ink in the back I tried just like with a dip, like with a brush dipping in, just to get some more coverage. Obviously heading up to Halloween here. And that was the end of Inktober. I bought, I think, 2 or 3 new colors for my Waterfoot color palette, so I was just playing around seeing what kind of mixes it made and did a quick little painting with that. Then things got a little ugly. I also found it really interesting keeping everything in one sketchbook, seeing like the ebb and flow of creativity and how you get like these bursts of inspiration and then it comes back down and gets kind of small and you can't think of things to do, so you just smush paint around, or you try to sketch something and it doesn't turn out really well. This is like my flat iron. I was feeling a little, cocky coming off some of these days, or it felt like I could actually draw stuff, and then I'm like, no, maybe I can't draw stuff. So it's just amazing how much it ebbs and flows, and it's got a lot of movement. I'm now heading into sort of my gouache era. I was working through a book that would give prompts. I was sort of missing the inspiration from Inktober. So this was thinking about value, thinking about color, thinking about shape, and just grabbing objects from your house and painting them. I like how the butter dish came out, but I just kept messing with this olive oil container. It just never seemed to get to where I wanted it to get. But then, we hit another one that looks kind of cool. Like, I'm really happy with how this harissa turned out, and the Pam is definitely looking like Pam. Cute little window. Got a couple Neo colors, which I now love and use in almost everything that I do. I'm sort of moving towards the mixed media. Playing around with some gouache, This isn't my own painting. I recreated one from the book. So this painting is a project in this book, The Art of Gouache, which is an adorable book with awesome little projects to do. I find that I now don't necessarily like to do exactly what and replicate what someone else has done as much as get some ideas and do something on my own using that. But great book, as well as has some of the most simplest color mixing that I've seen, which has been very helpful, especially with my gouache. Some instructions. I thought maybe I should try to see what this would look like in the summer. The colors are no good. That would be one of the first ones to go, but they must all stay, for they are all part of the journey. Heading into Christmas time, I tried a poinsettia in gouache, and then the same poinsettia, I just traced my sketch and put it over here, and tried the same poinsettia in watercolor just to see what I like better. I tried making a lino cut of one of these characters, which these were chocolates from IKEA, I believe. So not my own design, but it didn't work out great anyway. Then again, we sort of ebb and flow. So this is an ebb sort of again. I loved the colors in this little gouache landscape, but and then this is feeling a little bit better. The neo colors, we're getting a little bit into the mixed media. There's pencil crayon and neo colors along with the gouache here. Then this is from a reference photo I took when I was living in the mountains. And I really like how this turned out, but it has nearly every supply that I own is on this page. There's soft pastel, pencil crayon, gouache, watercolor. What else is in here? I mean, that's enough, right? But there's a lot of different kinds of media in this one page. And because there is some soft pastel in the mountains and on the beach, it transfers, so it needs this little sheet. I then was feeling like I wasn't having a lot of inspiration, and at my local art store, they were offering a free class through Etcher Studio. So I chose one with Sarah Van Dogen. It was great. It was a lot of fun. There's a still life that we did. She just got us to sort of play around with colors and looking at your colors and coming up with different color combinations and what you like. I think that was the biggest thing that I got out of it, was just that you need to do things like this, is play with your colors and find out what you like, as opposed to always trying to, I was trying to move away more from replicating colors into developing my own sort of color story and things. The reference photo was provided in the class, but my interpretation and colors and things, mostly my own. Here for this portrait of this lovely little bird lady, more lesson stuff. The final project was these sort of tablescapes, so sort of how the people are arranged, and the fact that we're doing a tablescape is her sort of idea, but I added some of my own objects. They're kind of cute, but it seems that in where I feel joy in the process is where things are really messy big strokes. I don't particularly like working in little detail. So it was fun, but and then for Christmas I was gifted some of these, I don't think I've tried to say this word out loud. Let's try. Viviva color sheets. So I just swatched them out here, and that was the end of the book. So 4.5 months of art on almost a daily basis. I worked in a couple other books during this time, as well as this isn't what I take when I sketch on location. It's just too big. So this is sort of like the home sketchbook, but it is now a treasured possession. I love it, and I'm so excited to fill another one. It's actually almost filled already. It's amazing how fast time flies. I just sort of want to leave this today with. The reason that I'm wanting to share this online is the joy that creating art daily and collecting it in a sketchbook and having a sketchbook has brought into my life, and I hope that someone else will feel validated in their use of their sketchbook, or maybe that they can do it. I would love that. So I hope you're having a great day. I hope that you're creating things that you're wanting to be creating. I hope you enjoyed snooping through my sketchbook. It's kind of like snooping through someone's house, hey? It's always kind of interesting to see what other people are up to in such a private space. But thanks for hanging out. If you'd like to hang out again sometime, you could subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, all those good things. But have a good day. We'll see you around.